Yo, what's up everyone? It's Zaini here. I'm here to break down It's Not the Same Anymore. It's a song I did where I sampled Vict Molina's vocals. I believe it was an Instagram story of hers, or it was an older post that she deleted. But anyways, here's the loop. So that's just a loop of her vocals. I pitched it down and then I just EQ'd it, put some delay on it. And then I put it to a send track because I did also have a higher pitched vocal. And I have that go to a send track together. And then here's the high pitched vocals where the beat drops. So just the same thing, just pitched up, and then I do have like an EQ, a heavy EQ, just to make sure I'm only getting the vocals as best as I can. And I also put an imager on the higher pitched vocals. That way it'll give some space for the regular vocals, and then it'll be able to stand out a little better. The next thing is hi-hats. It's a live hat loop. I made it with addictive drums. And then I just have a separate pattern for when the fast hi-hats come in, these ones. So I have this pattern. And I do have this perk, or I guess you could call it hi-hat loop. It even sounds like keys. I got it from a drum kit. I don't remember which one. And that just kind of gives it a groove. Then I have this open hi-hat here. Has a delay on it as well. Snares, I believe this is. Yep, it's just a clap, and I believe I layered it with a snare. Kick. And then I did bass. This is tambourine. So I have a tambourine here, and it's just on the snares, and then I have it reversed going into the snare on the last snare every 4 bars. Just very small things. I do it just to add a little bit of just ambience to the track. And just some crashes as well. And that's it for the track. But I also wanted to show how to make the bass. The way I make my bass is I use 3 times OSC, or oscillator, I guess you want to call it. The way I made it for this track, or I guess a lot of my tracks, is that the first oscillator, I will bring it to 0. I believe it's at 24 at the beginning, if I'm correct. And then I'll have it at sine, and then I will have the second oscillator at an octave up at the 12, and then also sine as well. And at first, I will actually keep this at 0. What I do for the last oscillator is actually change it to sawtooth. I bring it down to 0, and I bring the volume to about here. And the one that's an octave up is also going to be around the same level. Feel free to use these settings and then try to mess around with them and see what sounds right. But what I also do is detune the octave up oscillator. Depending on the song or sample, I will bring it up a little bit or bring it down a little bit, depending on if it sounds better or not. So up in these octaves, it's just going to sound like any regular sound. But if you bring it down anywhere from this octave or so, the 3 to the 4th octave, anywhere in between there, it sounds really good actually. And I can show you guys the bass line exactly. This is what it looks like. muted. You might not be able to hear it on speakers like on a phone or something. I brought it up an octave for that reason. Yeah, so just following the chords and then just some slides. I really like this plugin because it is an FL Studio native plugin. You can do slides and all of that without having to do any weird stuff. For example, in third-party plugins, you have to adjust settings inside of the plugin. And so that's about it. The last thing I did really was I wanted to slow down the sample at the end. So I took an automation for the tempo and brought it down. I brought it down to 100 BPM. The original was 135, or the original for my song. Yeah, that's about it.